Hello everyone, this is Cliff Ford, and today I'm going to be making the second part on my theory and discussion video on why Carrot, Yamato, and Vivi will be the last three Straw Hat members. Well, personally on why I feel like they would be more, that should be the more appropriate answer. Last time I focused mainly on Carrot. This time I will be focusing heavily on Yamato, and then next one will be focusing on Vivi. Now, to start off with Yamato, when Yamato was first introduced into the series, she instantly became a fan favorite for everyone and well, maybe not everyone in general, but for a lot of people, a lot of people instantly wanted Yamato to join the Straw Hat crew. Some people were debating whether or not it would be between her and Carrot. Some people wanted both Carrot and Yamato. Some people turned away from Carrot and decided to jump onto the Yamato train. Whatever the situation went, people wanted Yamato for the crew. And when Yamato came into the story, she even mentioned and even spoke to Luffy that she even wanted to sail with this crew and stuff like that. Matter of fact, in the last recent chapters with Yamato, spoiler alert if you haven't gotten this far in the manga, if you're watching this video, if you're not even caught up to this point in time with Yamato and Wano, I would recommend you not listen to this part. But, well, actually, that probably not really such a good thing to even say, because if this video is about Yamato and you're not really caught up that far, so, you know what, just ignore what I just said. I'm sorry. But to put it simple, when Yamato first came in the story, she had stated that she hoped to travel with Luffy, and in the recent chapters with Yamato fighting her father Kaido, she even mentioned that she mentioned to Kaido that she was going to sail with Luffy and his crew. Now, personally, while Yamato has stated this herself, and this is something that Oda has written through her point of view and her words, we also have to understand that Luffy has not actually accepted Yamato onto her crew. While Yamato has stated this, Luffy has not actually given the okay. And matter of fact, Yamato has only really met Luffy. She has not actually met any of the other Straw Hats, so we still have to wonder how the other Straw Hats will accept her as a member personally. So that's one thing to go by personally. Now, when we first get introduced to Yamato, Yamato is introduced as Kaido's son, and that's what everyone's led to believe. Until it was actually revealed that Yamato is actually the daughter of Kaido. And matter of fact, in the recent chapters of One Piece, we find out that Yamato is considered an Oni princess, or in the English translations, they refer to her as the Ogre Princess. Now, we're not actually sure what this is actually supposed to entail exactly. So we don't know if this Ogre Princess, like these Ogre tribes, are like a separate tribe altogether, if they're like a descendants of the original giants. We're not given an exact answer on what this is supposed to mean exactly, or even why she was given this title. So that's one thing to go by. Now, personally, there are some things to go for with Yamato exactly. Yamato is such an interesting character that a lot of people bring up so many things about her, like why she can't join the crew, and other people give so many good reasons on why she can join the crew. It really all comes down to how Oda chooses to write the story in general. in my opinion, I would love Yamato to join the crew along with Carrot, and I would love to see Vivi come back. Now, Yamato, let's see, what's the first thing I can talk about? Okay, so, how about I focus on this one in general? So, Yamato, her relationship with her father is really a bit torn. Really, it's kind of a similar situation with, I guess we can use Sanji and his father exactly. You see, Sanji, in the Whole Cake Island arc, we get to know more about Sanji's backstory, and his connections to his father, the Germa King. So, seeing how Sanji was raised, and it didn't really fit in with his father and his brothers and stuff like that, where he basically had to leave. But seeing that his father considered him a worthless failure who couldn't amount to anything, in Yamato's case, her father just practically abandoned her and practically left her to die, and like just locked her up, and like all that many things, and even to the point of starving her to death. Which sort of leads into her getting her devil fruit ability. But Yamato, she had a very interesting poor childhood that no child has gone through, and you see that's one of the main reasons why it can sort of give her a great opportunity to join the Straw Hats and their crew. While not all the Straw Hats personally have had, I mean, they've had like sad backstories, like it's a sad moment for them, but others, say like Robin's case, her backstory is like literally devastating. It's like hers is like literally devastating, but compared to someone like Usopp's, it's a sad moment. So, and with Yamato's case, it is it's a really heartbreaking moment when you learn about what she had to go through with her father and growing up. Now Yamato was present at Odin's execution, and and when she's growing up, she's always claimed, even said that she is Odin, she is going to be Odin, and this kind of confuses a lot of people in general. Like, it always seems like Yamato is always claiming to be a male, even though she does admit to being a female. So the way I can understand it in general is that she believes she respects Odin as sort of like her idol, or like someone she looks up to, someone who she wants to be like in general, and not literally claim to be them exactly, even though in some chapters it does seem like that's how she's pointing to it. But I think it's more like she wants to be like Odin in general, of how of a great person he was. I think that's what she's going for. Now, when Yamato, with all her things going on, we find out many similarities that Yamato shares with some of her crewmates. One person interesting is Luffy. When we learn some of the backstories with Yamato, we find out some interesting things that also sort of connect with Luffy in general. Like, take for instance the both of them eating their devil fruits out of hunger. Now, there's actually a bit of a small there's a bit of a small situation between the two. Luffy really just ate his devil fruit. I mean, sure, you can say he was hungry, but in Yamato's case, it was more of like she was like literally starving to death. I mean, we saw that her father had locked her away, and like sure, she was being fed by the samurai who were locked up as well. Um, but in terms of like real starvation and real uh like real beating, Yamato had a much more hard reason to like really eat the devil fruit out of pure hunger. I mean, the same thing with the Momo situation on Punk Hazard. He was given a lot more, like even Momo's case on Punk Hazard is a more opportunity reason to understand why they ate the devil fruit out of hunger. I mean, Luffy, I mean, he's always hungry, but his case isn't really that heavily related on that massive scale to Yamato or even Momo's case. Now, Momo, not Momo, I'm sorry. Yamato's devil fruit is the Inu no Mi model Okuchi no Megami. Yeah, Okuchi no Megami. I think I had that right. It is a mythical model, and it's basic, and it's sort of basic off. It's sort of based off of some kind of wolf deity. And this wolf deity sort of has connections to like Japan in ancient times, where like this wolf was considered like an ancient protector. And this is sort of why during this course, when Kaido brings up that this devil fruit was supposed to be a rare fruit because it's considered the guardian of Wano. No, which is actually pretty interesting in itself, because like if this devil fruit in general is considered the guardian of Wano, like so, which really brings up a really interesting question in itself. Like if it's considered like the guardian of Wano exactly, it really comes down to it like, well, like was it specifically like, did it like come here and was deemed the guardian of Wano when all Wano came together, or when during ancient times it was said that the lands of Wanos were pulled together by Oars and his descendants, and like the giants would pull the lands together. Or can we look at it like other lands too have their own guardians? And so forth. It's an interesting question in itself. Now, yeah, right now with Yamato's devil fruit, she's not given any. We haven't really got to see any full details on her devil fruit exactly. I mean, we've seen it in action with her fighting Kaido, but I feel like there's still more we can learn about her devil fruit in general, and I feel like it really gives off a big mystery on like why this particularly mythical devil fruit was considered so rare and so powerful. I mean, be honest, compared to when we're comparing it to both her and Kaido's situation, both of them are considered very unique devil fruits on their own. Both mythical devil fruits on their own that are really being kept secret in detail. I mean, with Kaido's case, when it was finally revealed, like everyone, there were two possible theories that everyone was going for with Kaido's devil fruit. Number one, he had like some kind of dragon fruit or mythical model, ancient dragon or something like that. And then other people suggested maybe he was an actual dragon who ate the oni of and became an Oni human. So that's one possibility to look at. Until it was finally revealed that he ate a fish fruit model Azure Dragon. Azure. I'm not even sure if I said that right. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I really am. Now, um, you see, and personally, like, why I want Yamato to join the crew exactly is because, you know, when Yamato stated that she wanted to join Luffy's crew, I think it's important that with all other cases with someone joining Luffy's crew, it was either out of Luffy wanting them to join personally, or it came down to a situation where Luffy needed this person to join for a specific reason. So in most cases, with some important situations with characters, there's that you like. Let's take for instance, like for Luffy's situation, who doesn't know much about navigating and stuff like that. I mean, sure, like he might know how to like sail off a ship, like, well, not like in terms of Sonny, but like a little dinger, like a little dinghy or something like that. He would probably easily know how to set sail on that and sail out into the water. But in terms of navigation and knowing where to go or even how to find an island, he wouldn't know how to do that. So with some people's cases, like Nami, or even Sanji's case as being the cook, or Chopper being the doctor, or even Frankie being a shipwright, right? These are essential characters that you would really need on the ship if you don't know how to handle these basic things. With Luffy's case, in some cases, with like characters like Zoro, or even Usopp, or another person to look at is Brooke, or even Robin. These characters, while their jobs are important for the Straw Hat crew in general in terms of what they're trying to accomplish on their dreams, it's not necessarily an important factor that you really need on the ship in general. I mean, Luffy is already a good fighter in itself, but I mean, Luffy is already like I'm saying, Luffy's already a good fighter himself, and not saying that he's better than Zoro or anything like that. I don't want to get any Zoro fans upset, but what I'm basically trying to say is that for any situation it always came down to Luffy either wanting someone to join, or it came down to a personal reason why he needed this person to join. And with both Yamato, and this probably goes to Carrot as well. Well, is that it's also unique when we can actually get a character specifically who asks Luffy if he can join the crew, instead of Luffy just saying that, hey, I want you to join my crew, or coming down to a situation why they actually need this person on the crew. It's also nice to get someone in a situation where they want to join the crew. Now, I know we sort of got this in a situation with Dressrosa, when many of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet had asked if they can join the Straw Hat crew and become Straw Hat Pirates, but Luffy had turned them down, and then they sort of became sort of like a backup Straw Hat Grand Fleet to always be assistant to the Straw Hats. Some people have suggested that Carrot would basically form a new Nox Pirates, and she would basically become a member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet and serve under them. Even if that's the case, I feel like personally, I feel like Carrot could still join the Straw Hat crew, and other minks could become the Nox Pirates. Alright, and now, before I get into this even further, to me personally, like, I feel like Yamato, while she does claim to be Odin, but one reason why I want her to sail with the Straw Hat the Straw Hat crew, is because personally I feel like it would be a great opportunity for her to discover her own self. I feel like it would also be an opportunity for her to to really make her own character, because I feel like not much of the world knows about her, and I feel like most people would just relate her to being Kaido, and I feel like she would want to sail with the Straw crew because I mean, she stated that her dream is to help open Wano, but after Kaido's defeated, that's already done. And so I think personally, for her to sail with the Straw Grand Crew, like her real dream would come down to um, her wanting to find her own self and be that kind of person in general. Now, one thing interesting about Yamato, along with the Mink tribe, is that both of them, such as Pedro and even Yamato, have both mentioned the Dawn, and other characters have mentioned it too. Now Yamato basically mentioned to Momo I'm sorry, I can't say his full name for some reason. Basically mentioned to Momo that he needed to survive this because he was going to help lead everyone to the new dawn. Now going back to Carrot for a moment, Pedro had also mentioned the same thing to Carrot when he also mentioned that that one of these days you'll understand why it was important to help help Luffy and the Straw Hats get to the dawn. We're not given an exact answer on what this dawn is supposed to mean. You know, some people consider that it's the meaning of the D in the will of D. But no clear exact answer on what the dawn is supposed to reference is supposed to mean. Now, in the last video I made, at least I think I mentioned this. I can't necessarily remember, but I mentioned this theory I had on why I believed Carrot and Vivi will be the next Straw crew. Well, it really came down to believing that the next crew members will be female, and it really came down to both the Mary and the Sonny. So I basically had mentioned that it went like this. So if anyone's not familiar with this, there's an old legend that says that when you name a ship, it should always be named after a female. That doesn't necessarily have to be true, but it was just something I heard in legends, and I'm not sure if every continent around the world actually follows this. But you know, when I was thinking about this in general, because I always thought it was interesting in the positions and how they were laid out in terms of like the Vivi cards, because you have like number 1 through 10 being Luffy to Jinbei, with Mary being 11, Sonny is 12, and then Vivi as 13. What really found me interesting about this is that Vivi was placed after the ships, and even though the ships are considered like real members of the crew, it also came as an interesting factor as a personal reason on like, well, why weren't the ships in general placed in the introductions that appear? I mean, if that's the case, it still led me to ask a very important question: why 11 and 12 specifically? Like, it's not like a really big matter to discuss, but it was just an interesting thought I was asking, because, well, why not just have Vivi before them and then the ships after her if you're going to consider her a full member even if she's not there? Which led me to believe that she is going to return, but Oda also didn't want to necessarily spoil anything, so it was a basic hint that would be in 2 more members after Jinbei, which I think will come down to Carrot and Yamato. Now, to basically sum it up and to get back to the Dawn situation, you know, both Yamato and Pedro have both mentioned the Dawn, with Pedro mentioning to Carrot in terms of helping the Straw Hat, and then Yamato mentioning to Momo that you need to survive this because you're going to be the one to lead everyone to the dawn. It really comes down to a really good situation, like who is really going to lead the dawn. I think in personal reasons, I feel like it's important to understand like what the Dawn is supposed to entail exactly. Like, who is really going to be the one to lead the Dawn? Like, is it going to be Momo? Is it going to be Luffy? Is it going to be Blackbeard? Like, there are so many contenders on who could actually it be. So moving on, Yamato, Yamato has brought such great requests to the fans, and even in the recent chapters where she basically stated that she wanted to join the Straw Hat crew and that she was going to sail with them, this has gotten the hype train even more, with people even literally believing that it's official. But even though it has not actually been given an official announcement by Oda saying personally that Yamato is a member of the Straw Hat crew, only in terms of like her announcing that she was going to sail with them. And during Yamato's other past, we before she actually met Luffy, we discovered that she's actually had connections to Ace, Luffy's brother, which even brings up even more possibilities on why she would actually join the crew. Now, one thing that's interesting, and this isn't a big deal personally, but one thing looking at it when it comes back to the ship situation, when we come down to like the Mary and the Sonny, it's interesting to point out the connections between it, because with Mary, we can always look at Mary being like coming toward we can always look at actually more of the Sonny. Let's look more of the Sonny. So the Sonny's figurehead is basically a lion with like a sort of like a mane that sort of resembles like a sun. On other people made jokes that it looks like a sunflower, but it's supposed to be considered a lion with the mane, with sort of like a fire-like mane, and so sort of like picture like the sun, which really brings up the Dawn in the situation. So like lions are considered the king of the jungles, and Dawn, while it doesn't necessarily refer to it basically refers to like the morning sun rising. So that's what the Dawn is basically referring to. Like, so basically, Dawn is the rising sun, and I think that's personal reason, because with both situations with Kara and Yamato, so they both come from positions where the Dawn was heavily mentioned, and with Luffy aiming to be king of the pirates, it's almost like it was like literally it was almost like it was like literally right there in our faces that we're going to get other characters to join the crew. Now that is a big stretch. I will admit that I really have no heavy evidence to back up that claim. And that's really just something I just wanted to throw out there. So I understand why that can be completely off. I'll admit that. I really would. So I don't have much else to discuss with this Yamato one. Personally, I like Yamato a lot. I would love her to join the crew, and personally, like, one more thing I should mention. I've had many people just give Yamato as like what position she could be in the crew, and people have said that she can be like a scriber or like a terms of like a chronicler, someone who chronicles the events of the Straw crew, and I could actually see that as a very good reason. And of course, some people have given a reason like, well, is that really important? Like, we're already close to the end of the story, so why would we need a chronicler? And it's not necessarily that we need a chronicler. It's more important because even with, like, let's look at Odin's case. Odin, like, he did the chronicling in his diary on his own free will. I mean, his really main job was to read the poneglyphs. But for Yamato's situation, it can also be an important event, because I also, with the chronicler, or she can she can also write down interesting things, because it's always the final event of your journey that is really the most interesting and mysterious, is when people come across it and they read this, as it really comes a real mystery on events that have unfolded, to wonder what really happened before, and that really comes down to an interesting situation. So personally, I think Yamato would make great for a chronicler. So I really do hope that she will join the Strike really join the Strike crew. Now all we need to do is wait for Luffy to really give his acceptance to both her and Carrot. We also need to actually wait and see how the other Strike crew members will actually react to her. Now I personally, before I close out this video, I just want to mention one thing. I don't personally think that there's other Straw members, I mean, they probably would, but I don't think they would necessarily do it. I don't think they would actually blame Yamato or compare Yamato to her actual father in general. I think the Straw Hats should be are well enough to know that that they shouldn't compare this person to their father. Even Sanji should know this full well. So, and Sanji would be probably one of the many people who would be heavily accepting of Yamato joining the crew. So, that's all I want to discuss on the Yamato situation. The next one will be Vivi. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Like the video if you liked the video. Leave a comment if you have anything to say about the video. Thank you very much, and you all have a great day. Bye.